So the term "they're going places" to me really is a forward-thinking phrase, reminds me that, not only is it okay to stop and reflect on what you've achieved, it also kind of forces you to recognize that there's a lot of work yet to be done.
Being involved not only in my office, but in my community, and being able to take my skills and help things along, whether it be with the Albany Barn, for instance, or with the YMCA, for instance. I think being able to use my traits to help other people go places.
If I could travel anywhere in the world, and I do count this as in the world, I would go to the space station. This is the coolest, most amazing place, the whole planet, 260 miles away from where we are right now, but still part of the Earth. I would love to do that.
I think the Capital District is a very intimate place. People like to say hello to each other. They like to live in communities, and they like to know that people know their names, particularly in the workplace. People want to know that when they come to work, I call it the Cheers effect. They want to know that everybody's going to know their name. And I think that's important to have a business that is a community where people want to be.
Economic growth year over year would be something that would really be beneficial. We've all seen recently the subprime crash and what happened from that. So I think smart, intelligent growth is what we need for the region.
I always like to highlight that the Capital Region is very unique in that it has a great base of technology, entrepreneurship, healthcare, and the fantastic academic organizations we have here.
The future for me in the Capital Region, I think, is a very bright future. The Capital Region has a lot of potential, a lot of growth. We're seeing it particularly in the technology sector, which brings in a lot of interest, a lot of little companies starting up. And I think that's going to bode well for the hospitality industry and myself.
The reason why I chose to stay in the Capital Region is the seasons and the location. I enjoy going down to Albany, working my way up into Saratoga, and then be able to go up to the Adirondacks and just enjoy a peaceful time up in the Adirondacks, and then that short drive back down to Albany, about an hour or so.
When I think about the word change, I've been through a lot of change in my life. Every professional opportunity I've had is because we've really moved, and I've really needed to find a role in a new place. And I've always taken on things that really surprised me. And every time that that's happened to me, I've elevated my career and my skills and my knowledge base, and it's been a wonderful experience.
Change at this point in my life means, of course, the restaurant, and we just underwent a massive change. So I think that for me, I've always been excited about change. I am not one of those people who is afraid of change. I've always tried to push myself outside of my comfort zone, even if it's baby steps. From a young age, I've always, made the cognizant effort to kind of, let me try a little bit and a little bit here. I went skydiving, so that's kind of me as a person. So I get encouraged and excited when I hear change.
I embrace change. There are some things that consistency, routine, structure is good for people, but with change, a lot of bright new ideas come about. With change, new people have new chances, and you could think of something completely new that could make such a positive change in the world we live in. So I embrace change.
If you say the word change, I think adapt. I think people are afraid to adapt sometimes. They're afraid to change because they're scared of what they don't know. And in today's business economy and business structure, you can't be afraid. You have to be able to change or adapt.
I think change can be really scary, but I also think that you have to go through change to learn and grow and get better. And so I do look forward to change, and I think we live in a perfect place because the seasons constantly change, so you're used to change, but change can be scary.
Really what I think most people think of change initially is scary. Oh my gosh, change can be scary. But really, when you think about it, 9 times out of 10, the changes that happen in your professional life, or maybe even your personal life, that you see coming and that you're nervous about or you're worried about, 9 times out of 10, whether that's a good change or a bad change, I think you come out a better person, you come out a stronger person and a better decision maker.
When I hear the word community, I really think about shared responsibility. I really do believe it takes a village. And nowhere is that more true than here in the Capital Region. When you look at all the various philanthropic activities that happen during the course of a year here, you can really see how this community pulls together to support the various causes.
I grew up in this area for most of my life and have a lot of pride in my community. And so I've tried to get involved where I could. I'm a member of our Chamber of Commerce. I recently got asked to join the board, which has been a great experience.
Community to me is a group of people, large or small, who have the same goals in mind. They're working toward the same things and they care about the same things. When you have that kind of group together, it's always good for the area because you have that passion that people need in order to make an area thrive.
I think that there is potential for Albany, my hometown, to just blow up and be that much more amazing than it already is.
I came back to the area. This is where my family is. A lot of friends here. A lot of the familiar sights and sounds, whether it be Saratoga in the summer or, the winters that we have to deal with. But, that's where all my family and friends are. So this is really the place that I grew up and the place that I call home.
There are 2 core values in which I've always repeated throughout my life. Both of them I've actually gotten from my father, believe it or not. The first one is hard work gets results. And I didn't always believe that. And I actually used to have to write down my goals on a sign that said hard work gets results. And through the years, I've been able to go back to that. And if I actually do it, I can find that I can attain those goals.
Earning people's respect and showing respect to other people. I think that that's something in the business community you might not see as often as you should. And I think that's helped me to reach the success that I've had. I'd also say taking ownership, really seeing through any sort of customer or client issues from beginning to end, and I think that's a good way to earn the respect of your clients.
Having respect for not only yourself and what you do every day, for the people that you're surrounded by in your work environment and when you go home as well. There's probably nothing more important in life than commanding respect and giving respect.
I think integrity is probably a big core value for me, and I think do what you say you're going to do, follow through, stay true to your word, and if you can't do those things, figure out a way to clean it up.
I think pride is a real important one, and sometimes people see pride as a negative. I think it's a very positive thing when you know that the outcome matters, that you take pride in your work, that you are working towards something that's bigger than yourself. So, the idea that if a customer needs something, you're going to stay late, you're going to get it done, and that if you don't do it right, there's an outcome that could affect the customer.
I think core values to me is something that was instilled to me when I was young, and through my grandfather in a business sense, I realized that his big thing was always to make sure that things were a 50-50 street when doing business.
When I think future, I think, I want 4 locations, I want more helicopters, I want more staff. I really want to bring helicopters to places that may not have it yet. So that's my future when I think of it business-wise.
Neither my brother nor I think, would be happy just kind of resting on our laurels and letting Polyset continue to operate at the status quo. It's very important for us to take what our father left us and build upon that.
When I think about the future, I think about my children. The future is very exciting. There's a lot of promise for them. But as a parent, there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of trepidation over what that means and what the world is going to be like in 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years from now.
When I think of the future, I think of wonderful opportunities for my family in this region. I think of the exciting days ahead for St. Peter's Health Partners and really the foundation. And I think of what really could be ahead of us for technology, for the advancements in our area, what changes could be ahead for Albany, maybe some new waterfront opportunities.
I think there's been several leaders, and I wouldn't be able to put a finger on just one. And I think that that comes from the business environment that I've grown up in. When you work in a public accounting firm, you work for many different partners and shareholders. And so I think I've taken a little bit from a lot of different people who have led the way before me.
There's no leader in particular that I admire as a whole, but a leader to me is someone that, when everybody else is thinking about what to do, takes the initiative and then does it.
Ozzie Newsome of the Baltimore Ravens, he's the GM, and their front office is ranked like #1 in the league. He has the ability to see a strength in someone where that person can provide something to the team that they're missing, some critical piece. And time and again, he's proven that he's able to find that strength in people.
We've had some wonderful board leadership at Park Playhouse that has helped me to understand our role, not just as an arts producer, not just as a youth theater producer, but as a business. And so Alan Goodman of ECG Consulting, Kathleen Lash-McNamee, Anthony Marinello, these are some of our recent board presidents, and I have realized a lot of development through working with them.
The leader that I admire the most would be Hillary Clinton. She's done so much for women, and the way that she turned herself around from when she was the First Lady to becoming Secretary of State and a presidential candidate and a senator. So I really admire how she took adversity and just, turned it around and became her own woman.
Tom Nardacci with Gramercy Communications has been a leader in terms of, not only just showing us, in the PR world, what we strive to, but he's been a leader in the community, helping out with different nonprofit efforts, and he's really been actually a really great source of information in terms of our own growth, in terms of what to do in your first few years with an agency.
What inspires is not perfection, but authenticity. So I can think of a couple of people that I work with who are not only authentic, the way that they are credible because they're really good at what they do. They're also humble, and they bring their team along with them through the ups and downs.
I think having a mentor is very important. My mentor right now is a man named Sasha Mirkovic. He came to my facility in 2007. We hit it off. He runs Ameriprise Financial, and what he's taught me, and I think it's been my most valuable lesson, is to lead by example.
I've been fortunate throughout my career to have many different mentors, and had the opportunity to work with different levels of senior management at Price Chopper and through my volunteer efforts with the Capital District YMCA.
Bob Horan is one of those leaders that I find very inspiring. He's the superintendent of Skodak Schools, and he has, as part of his school, opened it up to entrepreneurs, and has a very interesting model where he's providing free incubation space to entrepreneurs in exchange for them contributing to the classroom.
One of my early mentors was a man by the name of John Trembler, who ran a small theater in Easton, Pennsylvania, and he was always available for advice, and no matter how crazy the question was, and he helped me through those early years, and for the last 7 years he's been working for my company.